Do not do this when punching grass. What's up, YouTube and Facebook? Thanks for tuning in. In today's video, we're talking about my favorite way to catch bass, and that's punching grass. Ha, that rhymed. I didn't plan that, but in my personal opinion, punching grass is the most fun way to catch a bass. You know, everything happens so fast. You know, you've got big rods, big bait, thick cover, and most of the time, it's going to produce big bass. And in today's video, we're going to kind of dive into kind of the tips and the tricks and, you know, the baits, knots that we tie, and, you know, different things to make the punch bite a little bit more efficient and capitalizing on those bites and making sure that we get those bass to the boat, because it is a challenge. Everything happens so quick in punching. Hookup ratios normally not that good because, you know, you've got that big weight, and like I said, everything just happens so fast. So we're going to dive into that, and we're going to talk about what I found the best ways to punch grass is. In my opinion, the #1 worst thing you can do when punching grass is not tying a snail knot. So what the snail knot does is you've got your hook straight like that, and when you get pressure on that hook, it kicks out that way. And so what that does is, you know, that hook's gonna kick up into the fish's mouth and make your hookup ratio a whole lot better. And so we'll show you how to tie that knot real quick. Okay, so when tying this knot, this is the most important step. You're gonna make sure that you take your line through the front end of that hook. This is real important. If you don't do this, the knot is gonna be completely messed up and it's not gonna work right. So we're gonna take our tag end. We're gonna make ourselves a little loop like that and fold it. We're gonna take our tag end, wrap it around the neck of that hook, over your loop. And I like at least 5 or 6 wraps. Okay, so you wrapped it 5 or 6 times. You've got your loop. You're gonna take your line back through that loop. You just ran your line back through that loop, and you're gonna take your main line and you're just gonna cinch it down. And so there you have it. Then you're gonna cut your tag end off. And voila, there you have it, the snail knot. Now, one thing that I need to mention is that you need to have a flipping hook that has this little keeper right here. So you gotta have that when you're tying the snail knot. But yep, there you have it. There's the snail knot. So I learned about tying that snail knot in a hard way. So when I first started punching, I tied a improved clinch knot, and that's what I tie for everything else. And I 10 out of 10 recommend it for everything other than punching grass. But anyways, I had just started punching grass, getting familiar with it, and I fished a BFL on Guntersville. And so anybody that punches grass a lot knows that most of the time you're not going to get a ton of bites. I punched grass all day. I had 6 bites total, and I only boated 3. I hooked up with all of them, but they came off almost immediately after hooking up. I ended up weighing in 3 fish for like 10 pounds. So, you know, they were quality fish. If I could have boated those fish, you know, I probably would have made the day 2 cut. It was a super BFL, so top like 20% fishes day 2. So yeah, I learned that the hard way. If I'd have had the snail knot, you know, I probably would have boated them fish. You know, it was definitely a good lesson learned, and I know to never punch grass again without the snail knot, and I hope that you will learn from my mistake. So let's dive into our gear. So you see me tie the snail knot. That was on a 4/0 Trocar flipping hook, and most of the time I'm gonna punch with a 1 ounce weight to 1.25 ounces, and I always peg it. You want to make sure that you peg it, that way everything stays compact, and you don't have that weight flopping around, because if that weight's flopping around when the fish bites it, you know, think about that. You have a 1 ounce weight in your mouth and it's flopping around, you're probably not going to hang on to that bait if you're a fish. And my favorite flipping and punching bait is an X-Zone adrenaline bug. These baits are real slim. They don't have a bunch of like appendages and stuff hanging off of them, so that's really key when you're punching grass. You know, you want to have a slim profile bait. That way it's going to go through the mat easily and not hang up on that grass. So this is what I found to be the best bait. And so as far as color, I like to rotate. If the water's real clear and it's a real sunny day, I'm going to throw the Okeechobee crawl color. You know, it's kind of got like a blue sapphire hint and a green pumpkin mixed in. Then if the water's a little bit muddier, I'm going to do the old trusty black and blue, and this is actually what I've been using the last month out on Guntersville, and it has been hammering them. If the water's real muddy, really cloudy, especially on the Coosa River when you're punching weed beds and stuff. Now I like the purple. This is Purple Shadow, and all these baits are Exxon lures. But now let's talk about line. You know, line's really important. You gotta have a really strong line so when you're punching grass. So you always need to have braid on. And I like the Power Pro Super Slick. This is 65-pound test. Sometimes you can get away with 50, but when you're having that much tension put on, me personally, I'm gonna go with the 65-pound test all day. So we covered baits, we covered line, we covered you know, your terminal tackle. Now let's talk about our rod setup. So this is a Duckett Terex 7.6 foot extra heavy. You know, this is a great rod. It's not too heavy and it's not too light. So, you know, it's important that you have a more of a sensitive rod when you're punching this grass, because a lot of times, you know, that bite is real subtle, and then the other times they just jam up and load up, man, and it's a crazy bite. But you know, sometimes it's subtle, so it helps to have a little bit of a softer tip rod, but you've got to have that backbone. And this 7.6 foot extra heavy is perfect. I've been using this for about 3 years, and I absolutely love it. Now, as far as the reels, you want to have a high gear ratio. This is a Duckett Paradigm, and it's a 8:3-to-1 gear ratio. So you want to have that high gear ratio. That way you can really speed reel out of the grass and get those fish in the boat as quick as you can. But you know, when you're fishing this heavy cover, you're going to put a ton of stress on your rod and reel. So it really is important that you have the right gear. And another big thing that I see anglers make a mistake doing is setting the hook. You know, a lot of times, different presentations, you know, you let the rod load up whenever you feel the fish. Like when you're fishing a jig or something, you know, you're gonna let that rod load up and really make sure that the fish has it before you set the hook. Now with punching, it is totally different. Do not do that. Do not let the fish load up. Everything happens so fast. So when you have that heavy weight dropping down through that mat, you know, that fish is just sitting there, and most of the time they're hitting it just out of reaction. You know, they don't have a good look out of it, but I just know more times than not, you're gonna get your bite as soon as it breaks through that cover. So when you have that weight falling so fast, you know, you're not gonna have much time to set the hook. So as soon as you feel that bite, go ahead and set that hook. So another tip, when you're dealing with a subtle bite, when you're punching initially and your bait is falling through the mat, keep your thumb on your line in the spool. And a lot of times, you know, you can feel that bite through the line. You know, a lot of times it'll bounce, or as soon as it breaks through the mat, you know, it'll just stop spooling out. And so a lot of times that's going to be a bite. So pay attention to your line, especially during a subtle bite. But you know, most of the time the punching bite, you know, it's going to be pretty violent. You know, they're going to dig your rod and try to break your arm. Well, all right guys, thanks for tuning in to today's video. I hope it helps you catch more fish out there this year punching. You know, I hope it helps you be more efficient and capitalize on your bites. If you have any questions, go ahead and drop them down in the comment box below. Check out the description on this video. It's going to have links to Duckett, Exxon, to their shops, you know, so you can go and buy the products that I was talking about in today's video. They're tried and true products, you know that they work. And once again, I want to thank you for watching this video. If you're watching on Facebook, please leave a like and give me a follow. And if you're watching on YouTube, also give me a like and subscribe to my channel below. That's the best way that you can support me. You know, if you want to keep seeing these videos, subscribe and follow and drop me that like button. And we will see you in the next one.